We are back with Lisa Lain in the studio. She comes each week with your garden questions. Welcome, Lisa, to the show.
Thank you.
Good to be back. How is the garden center looking? It looks bright, cheery, lots of fragrance. The lilacs bloomed this week.
The lilacs are blooming. A lot of the ornamental tree or flowering trees are blooming.
Yeah.
A lot of nice perennials, roses coming in. So, yeah, we've been stocking up.
I know Amy brought in our buyer for trees and shrubs. She brought in some roses. We put them out front. We get this pergola in the front parking lot. Just a real pretty place. It says, welcome. We put roses out there because they smell good. They look good. And as soon as she put them out there, they were sold.
They were gone.
So she's getting a lot more. And I think we've got several like waves of them coming right now because they're inspiring.
Yeah. Definitely need a rose in your yard.
You do.
Or in your pot or wherever.
What kind of garden questions do we have?
Sure. So first I have an alert.
Oh, here we go.
So we had that really cold spring. It's starting to warm up now. So some of those insects are starting to show up that haven't shown up yet. So I had a gal in yesterday. She brought me this really weird, ugly, she thought it was fungus.
Yeah.
And actually, it is scale.
Yeah.
And it was around her pine trees. And I told her what it was and the product to treat it with. And she came back in today and she said, thank you so much.
That's awesome.
She said, I found more when I went looking. I found more and I did what you said. I put them in bags and I threw them in my trash and I got rid of them. So the scale are definitely out. So if you're in those pine areas, get out there in your yard and look for the scale. It looks like a sawdusty, gooey, weird. It's an egg sac. It's a scale egg sac. So you want to look for those.
Yeah. The pinyon pines specifically, the native pinions. So if you're in that area, they love eating those. And what they do is it's a little tiny, you can hardly see them. There's a crawler stage where they'll crawl up and down the tree. But they just hatched or they ate out of their egg case or their shell, their scale from the outer branches, and now they've crawled down to the base of the tree and they'll congregate right there where the soil meets the trunk or the major crotches of the tree. You'll be able to see them if you look, you can see them. Looks like a white cottony mass with some yellow mucus stuff in it. It's gross.
Pretty gross.
So gather those things up because literally there's thousands or more eggs that are going to hatch, and as that tree elongates and puts on new needles, they hatch, they crawl right up and attach themselves, and they literally will suck the needle dry, suck the life forces out of that tree, and it dies of starvation. The needles are taken out, so the tree can't create photosynthesis. And so it literally will starve to death. So if your trees look thin and wispy, well, they've been attacked by scale for years. Look at those.
Yeah.
Walk around those. And then you should fertilize those trees. Put the all-purpose plant food down. That'll help it elongate and get longer needles. And then you can collect these egg masses up. You'll never get them all. So you're still going to have to spray and treat. And if you see that, I would say gather that up, get it off of your property, throw them in the trash, and then fertilize a tree. And then treat the tree with systemic drench. So there's a tree and shrub systemic drench. Ask for it. It's just like that. We've got a really good one here at the garden center put together by Fertilome. So we're kind of one of the owners, or it's a co-op where we partner and we create these products. And so Fertilome tree and shrub drench is the product for scale. I mean, bar none. It is going to treat that new growth coming out for a year, keeps them off. And if you see this is something you're probably going to have to do every year.
Put it on your calendar.
I did this last year. Well, you're going to be doing it every year, or your tree will die. I'm telling you, entire tracts of these pinyon pines have been obliterated. Entire neighborhoods, they've all died because the scale took them out. So put it on your radar. It's good to know. I helped one customer last week, so I knew it was coming, but now it sounds like the tidal wave, it's hit. So
just wanted people to be aware of that. But let's move on to our questions. Our first one is from Shelby in Prescott Valley. She wants to know, what's that pretty yellow shrub blooming around town, and what does it do the rest of the year?
So Shelby, great question. So they all erupted at all elevations this week. I don't know where Shelby's from, but probably in the heart of Prescott or the
Prescott
Ridge
Valley.
Lines, Prescott Valley. Okay, gotcha. Forsythia, like 4, the number 4, Scythia. It's a shrub that just it grows wild here. It's just great. Antelope don't eat it in Prescott Valley. Deer, javelina, they all leave them alone. It's this pretty shrub that grows naturally up to about head height. Yeah, you can keep it trimmed down to hip high or so, chest high, but it naturally just let it go head height or a little above. Nice, thick, rounded shrub. Looks handsome no matter what you do. Just looks good. Nice and thick. And so it is a deciduous tree. That is, it loses its fall colors aspen gold, usually in October, first part of November. Then it has this interesting structure through winter, forms its flowers. Then in spring, it erupts with this yellow flower, golden, like bright solar yellow flower. And then it'll bloom maybe 3-4 weeks like that. Then it will start to put on some foliage. And so then you'll get another 2-3 weeks of foliage and flowers. And then it had just this real pretty,
dark green,
balanced, dark, rich green foliage that easily blocks out neighbors, defines walkways. It's a good plant for here, mainly because it's so drought hardy, animal hardy, sun hardy, wind hardy. It's got all the hardy things you want. So Forsythia is a great plant.
It announces spring. That's my favorite thing about it, is it announces spring. Also, if you don't think, I don't want a head high shrub and I don't want to have to prune it, we actually do. There's varieties that come in about the 4-foot range. And there's actually one that comes in about the 2-foot range. So we've got one for wherever you need in your yard.
Absolutely. So good. And a companion plant to that, lilacs, because it's always Forsythia, lilac, just like that. Boom, boom. And so you can extend that bloom cycle right through the end of spring just by having those 2 shrubs in your yard. Can fill up a landscape with spring blooms.
I agree. All right. Next question is from Andy in Chino. So he said he didn't get his pre-emergent down in time.
Ooh, Andy.
But now he's got the filigree and the foxtail and the loco weed. And he wants to know what's the best product to use at this time of year to kill those weeds.
Andy, we've been preaching for 3 months. Put your pre-emergence down. Andy, you knew it was coming. It was such a wet spring. Oh, what to do? Well, first start with put your pre-emergent down. Otherwise, it's going to come right back. I'll show you how to kill what's there, but it'll come right back. So the seed, every seed is going to germinate this spring. I mean, all of them. It's going to overwhelm your gardens with weeds, wildflowers, with everything. So put the pre-emergent. So there's a weed and grass preventer. You spread it like fertilizer throughout the yard. It'll keep the seed from germinating. So you got to start with that. Now, his actual question. In Chino Valley, how do I keep the weeds that are already up there how do I kill them? There's only one that I would recommend right now because it's still cool at night. You have to use Decimate. That's how just Decimate. It's a liquid. It's a competitor to Roundup, but it works when the nights are real cool. And it's far safer. It's not a glyphosate. It's not going to cause, boils to come out of your back because you've been spraying Roundup. I mean, Roundup is dangerous. Folks, don't use that stuff. You're going to get cancer. Just a matter of time. Decimate doesn't do that. And so it kills better, faster in the spring when it's real cool, and in the fall. And in the summer, almost anything. Everything will kill stuff in the summer. Roundup only works really in the summer. And that's it. It's a summer plant, summer killer. So Decimate, I would add now for sure. Here's the magic. Add spreader sticker to the Decimate in the same tank sprayer, and you will get a knockdown. And we were talking by the end of the day, some of these plants are going to be wilting. You put those 2 combos, the spreader sticker gets it to adhere and kill the foliage faster. And then the Decimate goes through the entire root zone and kills everything off. So that's how you come see us more, Andy. I mean, we can show you how to kill weeds. It's going to be a blockbuster weed year. Oh my gosh. Ken Lain, the Mountain Gardeners. Be right back after this.